Okay, so we're back, and in this video, I'm going to continue with what we talked about last time. How to get started, but I want to give some more marketing and sales advice this time, as well as an alternate strategy that you might really enjoy. Okay, so first, the alternate strategy. If you don't like the idea of a Facebook group, or if you're doing this in person, or if your main source of potential clients isn't Facebook, or even if it is, you may prefer a different strategy where you use a chat thread, a Facebook or like a messenger chat thread. It could be WhatsApp or it could be Facebook Messenger. It could even be Telegram, and you're going to use that instead of a Facebook group. Now, the advantage to a chat thread is that you can very directly message people. It's very, very good for like getting a message out there. So if you had like an in-person group, like right now, if I were to start a local like meditation group or like a local mastermind group that was like free or low priced, I would make a WhatsApp chat thread. I wouldn't make them join Facebook. Some people aren't really using Facebook that much. So I would have them do WhatsApp. I prefer WhatsApp over Telegram personally. I've had better results with it because more people look at WhatsApp, more people actually log into it, more people actually check it. Whereas on Telegram, a lot of times people aren't actually checking it that much, and it makes the group kind of pointless. So I would choose to do WhatsApp personally, or if I was doing it on Facebook, I would probably just do Facebook Messenger because that's easier for everybody. But either one is good, and you can create a little community in there. Now, one of the main things to consider if you're doing a chat thread as your community is that your classes are either going to be like on Zoom or in person. And so there's obviously no point in having a chat thread if you're going to make them go to a Facebook group to watch it. Just might as well just do a Facebook group. So it's good if your classes are going to be on Zoom or in person. And the benefit of the chat thread is also the thing that people find annoying, which is that they get notified and you can get a message very quickly to people, but whenever other people start talking, it can interrupt people and they sometimes don't like that. So what you want to do, what I found that works best, is you have a very, very clear intention for why that channel's open, for what it is. Whether it's like every week we're doing this workshop, and I'd love for you to come, but we're gonna keep conversation just around this workshop. We're not gonna talk about anything else. That way, anything that's relevant to the workshop is fine, and anything that's not, we remove it, and we just very strongly discourage people from posting that kind of stuff. So it's not the kind of group that people just share about anything. It wouldn't be that, generally. So unless, the only exception would be like if it's a local group. So I had a client who had a local classes. She rented out a yoga studio and did like these personal growth groups there. And she had a WhatsApp thread, and she would share, it was like a little community that she offered. So that's a little bit different because when people are local, they're generally not getting bombarded with a million chat threads and stuff the way people would if they're online. And plus, because it's in person, it probably is important to them. It probably has a little bit more significance than other things. And so if you're trying to cultivate a community, you can let people talk. They probably all know each other. I would be a little bit looser with the guidelines if it was like that. But especially if it's on Facebook, I would keep strict guidelines as far as what it is, because people are already in other groups, they're in other chat threads, and they just don't want to get annoyed by anything, okay? And if I was doing this on Facebook, I would probably do it's worked better for me with paid classes. So let's just say you have a class that is like $20 or $50. It actually works for free stuff too. It's actually fine for free stuff too. You can really do it for anything as long as the class is on Zoom. And I've had it work best for, I've had it actually work well for ongoing classes and one-time events. You can do it for both as long as you keep the conversation tight, where it's only about this topic, okay? That's it. That's the other strategy. And this, I was going to say, is really good for paid stuff. If you're doing a paid class, you're probably not going to be doing that in a Facebook group. And that, for that reason, you'd probably definitely use a chat thread of some kind, whether it's WhatsApp or Facebook or Telegram. Okay, so that's it. And like I said before, I've had better results with chat threads than I have with email lists, right? Getting people, sending them to a funnel or a website that I build, having them join the email list, that doesn't actually work that well. It takes more effort and is less fruitful. Opening a chat thread around your events or classes is way easier. It actually works way better because people check messenger threads more than they check their email. And it's just so easy. And in terms of taking payment from people, it actually works better to just send them a PayPal link than it does to build a website and make them watch a video and plug in their credit card. Generally, sending them PayPal link works better, especially for low ticket stuff, especially if the price is like $300 or less. They don't need to watch a whole video. They just need a little voice note from you or a little text from you and the link. That's really all they need. So again, you don't even need a website to make this happen. I would do it without a website. Okay, so as I said before, the intention of this video and the previous one and any others that I do in this series is to help you get your first few clients, to help you get to, $1,000 months or $1,000 days, okay? And so now that we've established some of the strategy that you can use, I want to give you, I want to talk about marketing and sales now. There's one more quick thing that I'll mention in terms of strategy. If you are doing local, which some of you might do, it's quite easy to rent out a yoga studio for just look at their schedule and find times that are available where there's no classes and no workshops and just rent it out. It could be like a Friday night, or it could be Sunday morning or Sunday night. There's some time on the schedule where they're not using it, where they would love some extra revenue. And so if you do it, a lot of them will do it for like a 50-50 split or a 60-40 split, where whatever money comes in, they'll split it with you. So if you're doing that, that's really easy. And then you get to tap into that group. If I were doing local stuff, I'd go to yoga studios and spas and I'd do one event at each one. I would just schedule a one-time event at each one. I might even schedule 2 events at each one, and they're workshops. And I would charge for it. I would charge some price, and they can kind of tell you the prices that people pay at those places. And you just make sure the title fits in with what people are actually looking for, and you do a split, and you just help people to transform. And here's the key to marketing at a local one is you have a sign-up sheet, and you have everyone write down on a physical piece of paper their name, email, phone number, how they found the class, and would they like more information about the services that you provide. And then most people will just check yes on that one. And then at the end, you have you have a list, you add them to your WhatsApp chat list or your email list or both. And then if you did this at every yoga studio in town and every spa in town, after a few months, you have a whole WhatsApp group or email list or both with all the contacts, all the people that you'd want to work with. And if they said yes, you can text them and offer them a free call. And you can get high ticket clients like this very, very easily without any social media. Very easy. And what else would I do is I would use Facebook events and I'd use meetup groups. So Meetup, you have to check your area, but Meetup works in most areas because there's people who use it in most areas. But you go to meetup.com and you can start like a local group, and that way whenever you have a class coming up, you just tell people about it for a month or so beforehand, and then you'll get your own people coming from Meetup, and the yoga studio itself sends you people. Okay, and after a while you'll have a bit of a following. Okay, and then what you can do is you can start renting out yoga studios or other spaces, and you can do events, you can do weekly classes, this is definitely something that would work super well. Even if you had your own space that you didn't have to pay for, you're still going to want to go to all the other yoga studios and spas because they have your ideal clients. And you can fill your WhatsApp thread and your email list with ideal clients and make a good impression on them, which will then help you to fill your own classes at your own space using your own marketing. Okay, so use Meetup and also Facebook events. Just go on Facebook, hit the create button and create an event and just give the details. Make sure that it's very clear that it's a local event, and that works super well. Okay, so that's what I would do. And Eventbrite is another one. To be honest, I've never really used it, and so I can't say that much about it, but I've used Meetup very successfully, Facebook events very successfully, and my client who did local stuff, she used Facebook events, and that helped her a lot. So I would use both of those. Okay, and that's it. So I hope that is helpful for you. So that's another strategy. Okay, now that we're on to the marketing part, what we want to do is if your event is free or low priced, I'm hoping that it's not that hard for you to get people there. What you do is you talk about the result and you talk about you having a special way that's easy for them to get to the result. And what you want to do is you want to isolate one modality or one thing as being the key. For example, I have a framework that I call the Self-Love 7. Okay, so it's 7 core practices that we can do, and it's like profound self-love. It's like deeper than normal self-love. And if we practice them, we can transform. It's very easy to transform using these 7 practices. So what I would do is I would talk about the Self-Love 7 and how it's better than any other modality, and that this modality works, and it's so easy, and it's so effective. Or you don't have to even say easy. You can just say like, it's the only thing that you need to do, right? And people like that. So that's what I would do. And you don't even need to really talk about the modality actually until they get there. And so what I'm hoping is that it's not that hard for you to get people there. You just got to energetically talk about it, feel confident and excited, and just tell people what it really is. Like come up with like some ideas about what you're going to offer during your classes, and then just tell people about it. And then what you really need to do is connect the dots between what's happening in your class and how their life will change. Because people don't come to classes because they want what's in the class. They come to classes because they want their life to change. And if you can help them to connect the dots between your class and their life changing, that's when you'll get people to come who are actually interested in the type of results that you offer. Or else you only get people who are experts, right? You can attract experts by talking about the technicalities of what happens during the class, but those people are not good fit to work with you because they already are good at it. They already know what they're doing. You want to attract people who don't know what they're doing, right? Or else why would they come to, why would they come to class? Why would they sign up to work with you if they're already expert at this? So what you do is you have to be the one that connects the dots between the class and the results that they're actually looking for, the shifts and changes and transformations that they actually want in their life. And if you can do that better than other people, you'll get your business will grow. So you do that, you invite them to the class, whether it's free or low priced. Okay. One little messaging that I've used is tell people that the class, like if your class is a paid class, you don't have to tell them the price if you post about it on social media right away. You can tell them that in Messenger privately when you send your PayPal link. And certain times you're gonna just want to tell people the class, right? If it's a Facebook event or a meetup page, you would just tell people the class up front right away. You tell them the price. But what you could do is say that the price is less than the cost of a standard therapy session, right? So the price of this class is less than, or maybe it's half of, or maybe it's less than half of the price of a standard therapy session. Okay, because standard therapy sessions are probably around $80 to $100 or $120. Okay, so if the class is less than that, you just tell them it's less than the cost of a standard therapy session. Okay, and that way they're seeing the value. They're like, oh, I'm getting all this stuff and it's less than one therapy session, and people know that one therapy session generally doesn't do anything for them. It generally takes a long time in therapy, and even then it doesn't really do that much, to be honest. Okay, so that's a good way to do, like, you kind of compare the price to something else that people generally have no problem paying for, right? You know, you can, if the class is less than, you know, $70, you can say for less than, it's like this class is 90% less than the cost, you know, like the cheapest tickets at Tony Robbins event, right? This cost is 90% less than, 95% less than the cheapest prices of a seat at one of Tony Robbins events where there's over 10,000 people or whatever it is, right? And so that way people are like, oh, then the price of $35 looks like really low compared to, you know, otherwise people might have a hard time with the price, but if you say it that way, now they're like, oh, this is nothing, right? Yeah. So that's a good way to do it. Okay, and in terms of the next steps, what you really want to do, like the thing that will actually move the needle for you, is going to be packaging a program in a way that sells it. Okay, so everything I said so far is getting people to your classes and be a little bit about follow up with people. But what is going to move the needle for you the most is packaging your program. And so what you want to do is come up with like a bit of a customer journey of like, when people join, they're generally at this starting place, and then I bring them through the program so they can get to this ending result. Okay, and you might want to just, it takes a little bit like being bold, right? A lot of us want to stay general, but to be honest, general is non-existent. Actually, there is no real such thing as general. General things haven't landed, right? General is that something's not real until it's specific. If you actually think about it, there's nothing that's actually existent that is general. You know, like if something actually exists, it's specific. It's a specific thing, right? It's grounded, it's landed, it's anchored. So a lot of us have the fear of anchoring and grounding things, and that manifests as staying really general. And that's why we're afraid to get specific with marketing, because we don't want to take a stand, because we don't want to get rejected. We don't want to feel the burn or the pain of getting rejected or getting laughed at or getting no results. But as long as we stay general, we will get no results. So you want to come up with, you don't have to get married to your program, right? You try it, and if nobody says they want it, and if it doesn't work, then you just move on to something else. But you have to be willing to try and practice this. So you want to come up with, like, generally the starting point is, you know, divorced dads who are, you know, not that spiritual, but they're open to spirituality, and the divorce is painful, and they might even have some kids, and they just want harmony, and they want to not lose all their stuff or whatever, right? Or, you know, they want to get over the pain and trauma of their sexless marriage and find love, right? So the end result might be finding love and finding healthy sex life or whatever. Or maybe it's just like overcoming the pain and trauma of the past relationship, whatever, right? So you come up with like ending result that people want, make it as specific as you can, but not too specific, right? Like some of us hear the advice about getting specific and we just make up stuff from our head. You don't want to make up stuff from your head, but you want to like spin some possibilities, muse on some possibilities. And again, like if you create a customer journey of like the A to Z and you have some steps in between, then at least that's alive. Then at least it's existent. And now you can create another one for another avatar. And if you do this with a couple of different things, then you have some fuel, right? And then when you meet people, and maybe it's the spiritual mom who wants to be more awakened, or maybe it's the divorced dad who wants to find love, or maybe it's the coach who wants to be more confident and overcome the trauma of rejection or whatever. And so you might have a couple different things. That's all that means is that you've gone through a thought process and you've come up with some good ideas and you've got it on paper and you know a couple different steps that you could bring people through. And then when you meet people, you're like, okay, are they better fit for this one or for this one or for this one? That's fine. In the beginning, you might want to do that because you don't really know who you're going to be meeting and you haven't fully specialized yet. So you want to just have some possibilities. But maybe you know everyone that you meet, maybe your ideal client is a yoga teacher and you know that they want to transition to being a healer. And so you want to teach them Reiki or some other modalities so that they can be a healer instead of just a yoga teacher. Like with something that specific, don't you realize that you'll blow up really fast? Like that's good, right? The more specific, it means it's more real. That means when people hear it, they're like, oh, I believe in that. If it's general, people don't believe in it. But don't just guess either. Like you want to talk to people and find out what they're looking for. And so if you know that you've had a good experience in your own relationships, you can offer a relationship coaching program, but like make it to your previous self and you offer them steps to get to where you've gotten. Like that's the best way. If you want to really be specific and not miss, make it about your own journey. Make it about stuff that you did, right? I was here and now I'm here and here's how I got from here to here. And my main vehicle I used was this, right? So you want to have step by step and you have a vehicle. Your vehicle is your modality. That's the one thing. And then the step by step are like the general steps. They're general in that they're big picture. They're like generally the first thing we do is we identify your limiting beliefs and traumas and blockages. Then the second thing we do is we want to release these using my special method. And the third thing we want to do is establish new habits. And the fourth thing we want to do is give you an environment where you can thrive. Something like that, right? So you come up with steps and people hear it and they're like, oh, that makes sense. But just make sure that you believe in the steps and that they're simple to understand. So your steps should be simple, believable, and you should be confident in them. And ideally, you should even be excited about bringing people through them. And if you're confident and excited, they'll feel confident and excited and they'll join your program. Okay. So if you want to package something for around $1,000, even like $300, you want to have some semblance of a program. So if it's like 300 to like, 3,000, let's just say. My favorite prices are 2,400, 1,111. Those are generally my favorite. And somewhere around 500 also works. And yeah, you just pick a price that you like and that you think would work. And you just build out the A, the Z, and the steps in the vehicle. And then you just come up with a cool name for it. And then when you bring people through, just make sure that you're confident and excited, and then they'll be confident and excited, and make sure that you've found out enough about them where you can present it to them in a way that feels specific to them, where they can get it. Because like when you come up with the A to Z and you have maybe a couple different ideas and options, you don't just pitch it to people like it's a sales video. You talk to them and you listen and you find out what they're looking for, and then you can custom craft it. You can say, you know how you told me that you're going through this? Well, I do have a program for that, and here's what we're gonna do. And you fill in the gaps with what they've told you. You don't just make up stuff. You listen and you fill in the details of your program with what they literally just told you that they want and what they need. And as a professional, you have an ear to listen for what they actually need, and you just tell them what they need in a way that is also what they want, okay? And you put a price of 1,000-ish, a little bit more, a little bit less, dollars on it, and you can easily sell that. Like, you can easily sell that. Now, if the program is around 100, 300, 500, like, you still kind of want what I described, but it would be very simple. You could have a simple version of it, right? What I mentioned works better if it's like an actual program. If it's around $100, it's just a session or two, right? Like, you don't need to have something that detailed. You just need to kind of have calls with people, listen, and tell them that you can help them, and tell them how you're going to help them. And you just kind of diagnose and prescribe and give them, here's the number of sessions that you'll need. And once you start getting into the 400 plus range, you may want to start having a couple, steps and a program. And if it's a one-to-one program, you can fully customize it. You can fully customize this program. You don't have to make something standard where you bring everyone through the same thing. There's no reason to do that. Even if you have a group, you still want to customize it to what people need, right? But one-to-one especially, just tell them, fully customized. This is generally what we do with people, but like, I'm going to customize this for you. And for you, since you told me you want this, I'll give you this. And since you told me you want this, I'll give you this. Since you told me you want this, I'll give you this and this, right? And when you make a program, you're just going to offer them the sessions plus messenger support. So they get kind of two things. They get the certain number of sessions with you on Zoom or whatever, or in person, and then they get messenger support. So they get access to you via WhatsApp or Telegram or Facebook or email or text, some channel that you like. Usually you want to make it a channel that you can turn off. So like for me, I prefer WhatsApp the most because I can turn it off and I don't look at it unless I need it. Whereas I wouldn't really give someone my text number because maybe I look at my text when I'm not working. And maybe WhatsApp for me is only for work. And so you want to be able to have good boundaries for yourself. So you generally pick a channel where you only use it for work. Okay? Okay, hopefully that's helpful. And yeah, just come up with unique names for it. And like I said, if you get excited about it, that is a good sign that you're on the right track. So just think about these things until you get excited. Just brainstorm, come up with ideas until you're excited, and think. Then once you're excited, you know you're on the right idea. Then fill in the gaps and come up with details and a structure. Come up with a structure until you feel confident. The structure is how you're going to feel confident, and the premise of the idea is how you're going to feel excited. And you want both. You want the excited because of the concept, and you want confident because of the structure. And then you just talk to people with both of those in your mind, and boom, they're going to feel them both, and they're going to say yes if the price makes sense. Okay, 1111 is a good price point, and if you do that, you can make it 3 payments of 444 or 1 payment of 1111. That's what I would do. If you made it 2400, you'd probably do, I don't know, 3 payments of 1000 or 6 payments of 500 or the 1 payment of 2400. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for this video. If you apply what I just taught you, it will work. And also make sure that whenever you get people in a chat thread or even Facebook group, you just follow up with them. Just follow up, more contact with them. Like if you have energy for what you're doing and if your reasons for doing it are right, then you're not going to lose energy just by messaging people. Right? Keep in touch, message them, see how you can help them. Try to give them free stuff when you can, and get on calls with people. Just when in doubt, get on a call with them. When in doubt, do something that's live. So either live group classes or live one-to-one calls, and both. And if you want your business to grow, just do more live classes and more one-to-one calls. Okay, and just have prices that make sense that people can afford. And just get really confident and excited about whatever you're doing. Confident because of the structure, excited because of the premise. And that should sell anything for you, especially if you're doing low prices like what we're talking about in this video. Okay, hopefully that's helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.